murdered in a shooting attack at the Allenby crossing near the border with Jordan. Magen David Adom arrived on the scene and tried to resuscitate the victims, but were forced to declare their deaths. The terrorists were neutralized on the scene. An IDF spokesman said the details are under investigation. Just 1 year ago, 3 people were murdered in a shooting attack at the very same crossing, in a shooting attack by a Jordanian truck driver. And moving on, it's day 713 of the war in Gaza and the 3rd day of the IDF offensive to take over Gaza City. The army opened up a second escape route for many thousands of Gaza City civilians fleeing the war zone for designated humanitarian zones to the south. ILTV's Steve Leibovitz has the latest.
The IDF says it hit more than 50 targets overnight, primarily in Gaza City, with combined air, artillery, and special forces zeroing in on Hamas tunnel networks and command cells. Local authorities claim at least 30 Palestinians killed in recent strikes, including 19 in Gaza City, as airstrikes targeted terror infrastructure. Ground forces continue to slowly expand areas of IDF control of Gaza City. Tens of thousands of Gaza City civilians are on the move, heading south along a new evacuation route opened by the IDF. An estimated 400,000 civilians have left Gaza City and headed to humanitarian zones opened by Israel in the south, with a new route on the Salah al-Din highway open to alleviate gridlock on the coastal road. Some 600,000 civilians remain in Gaza, and many say they do not plan to leave. Israel warns the operation will continue until Hamas is stripped of control over Gaza City, and the mission is clear: end Hamas control and military capacity and bring the hostages home.
And a new report by the Times of Israel is saying that President Trump has authorized the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair to gather regional and international partners around a new proposal for post-war Gaza. ILTV's Shosh Bedrosian has the details on the report that includes the replacement of Hamas in the enclave. Shosh, what else can you tell us?
Well, Lidar, it's really a fascinating report. It's truly one of the first times we have seen a proposal that has concrete steps of what post-war Gaza could actually look like. The proposal involves setting up a transitional governing power in Gaza after the war ends, which would then eventually be handed over to the Palestinian Authority after it is reformed, according to the Times of Israel. Now, the proposed body is called the Gaza International Transitional Authority and would be established by a UN Security Council resolution. It would be comprised of 7 to 10 members, including Palestinians, senior UN officials, international figures, and proper Muslim representation for regional credibility. There would also be various commissioners to oversee different departments. A civilian police force in Gaza would be established under this proposal, in addition to disarmament. The report indicates a draft has now been prepared, and its intention is to also help bring an end to this current war. As the Times of Israel reports, the Trump administration concluded from major partners that replacing Hamas is essential for securing a permanent ceasefire and a hostage release deal. The report indicates the transitional period could take several years, but less than a decade. It also says it would eventually hand power over to the Palestinian Authority once it makes significant reforms. Lidar?
Thank you, Shosh, for the report.
אתה הכי טוב. עוד יותר טוב.
אלבר, רק את הטוב. ועוד הנפקה מוצלחת לחברת ההייטק הישראלית.
אולי תהיה יותר טוב משם.
Israel is strong and growing. Now, more than ever, is the time to make Aliyah.
And moving on, Syria's President Ahmed al-Shara says that negotiations with Israel on a security pact are advancing rapidly and may bring results in coming days. Israel wants to ensure that southern Syria cannot be used as a launchpad for Iranian-backed militias or other hostile actors. And joining us now with more on the latest developments in Gaza and Syria is General Amir Avivi, founder and CEO of the Israel Defense and Securities Forum. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Hi, Lidar.
So let's start with Gaza. We are on day 3 of this offensive. Can you maybe walk us through the expected timeline for this operation and what Israel hopes to achieve from it?
So we know that Israel is already controlling 75% of the Gaza Strip, and Hamas remains in 2 main strongholds, in the city of Gaza and in the central camps. The city of Gaza is the main stronghold. The brigade of Hamas in Gaza is the strongest brigade. And obviously, dismantling this brigade, destroying it, it's a huge step towards eradicating Hamas as a governmental and military entity. At the moment, the IDF is moving forward slowly, mainly pushing the Gazan society out of the city of Gaza to the south, to the humanitarian zone. We see many airstrikes. We see explosive APCs that dismantle all the booby traps and improvised explosive devices that Hamas has placed in different houses and junctions inside the city, and also bringing down these buildings where they have snipers and observation posts that try to locate the Israeli forces. So there are many things that are done to really secure our soldiers before they start the massive maneuver into Gaza City. At this stage, the IDF is controlling 40% of the city of Gaza, but there is a lot to do still in order to really dismantle Hamas in Gaza City.
Mm-hmm. And what do you make of this report of a sort of concrete plan for Gaza the day after the war? Is it feasible handing over control to the Palestinian Authority and others? Because, you know, as of now, they're continuing with, for example, their pay-for-slay policies and are certainly no partner for peace as it stands now.
As far as I know, the government completely opposes the idea of a Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority took Gaza Strip in 1994 from the Stone Age, literally, to shooting rockets on Israel in 2001. And by 2004, 10 years after Oslo, complete loss of control of the Gaza Strip. And all this is under the Palestinian Authority, who is paying billions to terrorists, inciting. They are not an option. What I see done in Gaza is relying on local clans. We see a clan that is managing Rafah. We see another clan that is managing Sajaiya, and also the IDF is trying to work with a clan in Khan Yunis. So this is where this is going, some kind of cantonization based on local governance of clans, not the Palestinian Authority, not the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and certainly not Hamas. They're all not viable options.
And turning to Syria, I want to ask, you know, right now, what's the situation on the border between Israel and Syria, and what are the current threats to Israel?
So Syria is not really a country. You know, we're dealing with a government that controls maybe 30% of Syria. We have a huge area controlled by the Kurds. We have the Druze near our border. We have the Alawis on the western side. So Syria is not really functioning as a state. And even within Ashara's area of control, there are many different forces, some of them really radical, Al-Qaeda, ISIS-oriented. To me, it's not clear how viable is an agreement with them. I think that in the long term, we'll see Syria moving towards a civil war again. But we have to make sure that all the area south of Damascus is completely demilitarized. We have to make sure that the Druze are secure, that there is no militants that move from the north to the area of the Golan Heights. And the question is, in this agreement, how can the IDF impose this? just as we are doing in Lebanon. In Lebanon, we have a ceasefire, yet we attack almost on an everyday basis when we see Hezbollah trying to build capabilities again in South Lebanon. And we need the same in Syria. We cannot trust Ashara to really demilitarize all these areas. We need to be able to be proactive and make sure that this really happens on the ground.
Absolutely. General Amir Avivi, thank you so much for joining us today and for your insights.
My pleasure.
And moving on from security news, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded this morning to what he called the insane lies being spread online about Israel being responsible for Charlie Kirk's murder. The claim being peddled is that Charlie was turning on Israel, and so Israel decided to assassinate him. But Netanyahu finally sets the record straight. Let's hear what he had to say.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization.
The lie is being pushed without any proof by the likes of Candace Owens and others. And Netanyahu suggested the real reason behind these lies might all come down to Qatari money and its efforts to create a divide in the U.S.-Israel alliance.
Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man. And a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
And on October 16th, ILTV News and the Jewish Agency for Israel will mark 2 years since the October 7th massacre with a powerful 90-minute broadcast. This special event will share survivor testimonies, stories of resilience, and the unity of Jewish communities worldwide. Join us as we honor the victims, support the families, and stand together for Israel's future. Scan the QR code now to sign up and be part of this meaningful program. And moving on, Israel's new air defense system, the Iron Beam, has successfully completed testing and will be ready for full operational use by the end of the year. This, according to the IDF. The Iron Beam will now join the Iron Dome, David Sling, and Arrow in intercepting aerial threats. But what makes the Iron Beam exceptional? ILTV's Debo Klein breaks it down.
This is the Iron Beam, Israel's latest development of air defense. Co-developed by Elbit Systems and Rafael, the Iron Beam is a laser-based system built to destroy incoming missiles, rockets, mortars, UAVs, and aircrafts, so any aerial threat can be intercepted by the Iron Beam. The Iron Beam will join Israel's other aerial defense systems, the Iron Dome, the David Sling, and the Chetz. But what makes the Iron Beam stand out as the most effective air defense system? Each interceptor of the Iron Dome for short-range missiles and rockets is estimated to cost the IDF approximately $40,000 to $50,000 per interception, while the Chetz 3, which is geared to intercept missiles outside of Israel's atmosphere, is estimated to cost around $4 to $8 million US, this according to Globes. With Israel close to ending a second year of war against hostile neighbors, Israeli defense spendings have skyrocketed, significantly impacting Israel's economy. But now, with the newly functioning Iron Beam, each interception of the laser system will cost only a few dollars in energy, meaning not only are interception capabilities now significantly better, the IDF also saves tens of thousands of dollars per interception in the process. The Iron Beam has also been dubbed Or Eitan, or in English, Eitan's Beam, this in memory of fallen soldier Eitan Oster, who fell in combat in Lebanon and whose father Dubi Oster helped develop the system.
And here in Israel, the holidays are coming up. As Israelis prepare to ring in the new year, a staggering amount of food will go to waste. This Rosh Hashanah, households are expected to spend nearly 9 billion shekels on food, with 1.4 billion shekels worth, some 260,000 tons, wasted. But Leket Israel is working to change that by providing people in need with beautiful Rosh Hashanah boxes filled with fresh fruits and vegetables.
At Leket Israel's logistics center, volunteers are working around the clock, preparing holiday boxes filled with fresh produce and symbolic foods for the new year.
Well, basically what we can see is all these volunteers that are especially packing up the symbols of Rosh Hashanah, of the Chag that's going to be next week, to 65,000 families.
Yedidia Rosenberg, the head of agency relations at Leket Israel, explains the nonprofit specializes in food rescue, salvaging surplus fruits and vegetables directly from Israeli farmers and fields.
To start here with the dates, are one of the fruit and vegetables that we bless on in the new year. As we can see the dates here, we are checking to see if there's some that are a bit less good like these, and we're taking them out, and we're going to give, of course, best quality to every family that we can.
Instead of being discarded, this fresh produce is collected, sorted, and delivered to more than 300 nonprofit partners nationwide.
So basically, we supply all the different parts of the population, but of course there's a big portion of elderly people, single-parent families.
Each item heading into the boxes this year offers special meaning for the new year ahead.
So the squash, okay, which is also something that we bless on, that all the bad things in the year should finish, and we should only have good things at the beginning of the new year.
And for the thousands of volunteers who show up, the experience is just as meaningful.
Amazing, fun environment to work in, collaborative effort, everybody with the same goal, wanting to help, wanting to contribute to Israel. The quality of the stuff we're packing is absolutely amazing. It's not substandard produce. This is A-grade, top of the range, beautiful, beautiful produce.
I think it's important because everybody should be able to sit down to a table and have a sumptuous meal and be able to prepare good food. And, there are people who struggle, who can't afford to go to struggle to go to the supermarket, will buy the bare essentials. This way they get basics, but they get a really nice, good box.
This is where we're making individual packages for every person. We're putting all the things in, the potatoes, squash, pomegranates. And then of course it's a blessing for the new year. We have all the special blessings that everybody can bless on all the different fruit and vegetables that we have in the box.
With Israel's cost of living rising and food waste adding an extra 10,200 shekels to the average household annually, Leket's mission takes on a new urgency.
We know that fruit and vegetables are very expensive, and a lot of people decide to give up and not buy fruit and vegetables as one of the first things when they start to reduce the food that they're buying. If Leket wasn't supplying these fruit and vegetables, they wouldn't be able to celebrate with these fruit and vegetables, and I know they're going to enjoy it a lot and have a lot of happiness from it.
This Rosh Hashanah, Leket Israel is not just reducing waste, it's ensuring that tens of thousands of families across the country can celebrate the holiday with dignity, tradition, and abundance. From the fields to the family table, Leket Israel is using the foundation of who the people of Israel are to help each other in a time of need.
An incredible initiative. And speaking of the holidays, it's a powerful time of year, a special period when the Kotel, or Western Wall, hosts thousands of people in the early morning hours for Slichot, a set of special poems and prayers said for forgiveness. ILTV's Shosh Bedrosian gives us a look inside the tradition as thousands of more people will head out to the Kotel tonight.
There is a great sense of awe in the air as the walk down to the Kotel begins. Thousands of people are beginning to fill the holiest square in the world in Jerusalem, in front of the most important site in Judaism, where the Second Temple once stood. Together, they will uplift their voices for the special time period before the High Holy Days, called Slichot.
Expecting to kind of feel kind of an otherworldly feeling, I guess, if you will. Something I've never experienced before, maybe seen over my phone on the other side of the world, but to be here in person for it is going to be pretty spectacular. I'm looking forward to it.
Like in a year like this, it's time to just come and feel like clean yourself, like have a moment of peace. I feel like it's your moment to like go in yourself and ask sorry, clean yourself, just feel clean and everything.
Organized and prepared by the Western Wall Heritage Foundation, thousands of people will be able to watch the powerful prayers that focus on repentance, forgiveness, and spiritual reflection through their phone screens, or feel the life-changing experience in person.
All the people that you see here are heroes. That's why it's special. Look how the Jewish nation say to God, we're sorry. We want to be good and better and better. It's unbelievable.
The foundation is working overtime to give visitors of the Kotel a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity on the ground and underneath them, as they're working to excavate the past Jewish history that lies beneath the surface in Jerusalem. Uncovering unearthed tokens from the history of Jews, the Western Wall Heritage Foundation is helping the past come back to life. Even with these centuries-old prayer poems that reverberates throughout Jerusalem.
It's part of our tradition, it's part of our country.
The energy, look, unbelievable.
And now we take you back to our Hebrew word of the week. Along with eTeacher, we'll learn a new Hebrew word each week and relate it to the Bible, current affairs, and our everyday lives. For more info on the Rosen School of Hebrew, please scan the QR code on your screen. But in the meantime, let's hear this week's word of the week.
Welcome to Hebrew Word of the Week. I'm Ariella, and in this segment, together with eTeacher, we explore the beauty and depth of the Hebrew language. We'll learn a new Hebrew word or phrase and see how it's used in the Bible, current events, and everyday life. Today's Hebrew word is Shana, which means year. In Hebrew, the year is a significant unit of time, marking the passage of seasons, holidays, and personal milestones. Shana is a word that signifies both the flow of time and the opportunities for growth and renewal that each year brings. In Hebrew culture, Shana is particularly meaningful during the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, which is a time for reflection, renewal, and setting intentions for the coming year. Here are some examples of how the word Shana is used in a sentence. Shana tova v'metuka, have a good and sweet New Year. B'shana shavra tiyalnu ba'aretz, last year we traveled in Israel. So if you're interested in learning more about the Hebrew language, check out eTeacher. This online and live course is the most established Hebrew language instruction institution. You can learn with a time-proven method for every level or start from scratch. eTeacher offers dynamic online courses with live video lessons, weekly webinars, and ample support, allowing you to connect to a lively global community for an enriched learning experience. Scan the QR code or click the link below and visit eTeacher website today to learn more. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Hebrew word Shana. Please join us next week for another episode of Hebrew Word of the Week. And in the meantime, I encourage you to reflect on the significance of Shana in your own life and how you can make the most of each year. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences with us in the comments below.
And now let's take a look at the weather. We open tonight with news of a terror attack. 2 people were murdered in a shooting attack at the Allenby crossing near the border with Jordan. Magen David Adom arrived on the scene and tried to resuscitate the victims, but were forced to declare their deaths. The terrorists were neutralized on the scene. An IDF spokesman said the details are under investigation. Just 1 year ago, 3 people were murdered in a shooting attack at the very same crossing, in a shooting attack by a Jordanian truck driver. And moving on, it's day 713 of the war in Gaza and the 3rd day of the IDF offensive to take over Gaza City. The army opened up a second escape route for many thousands of Gaza City civilians fleeing the war zone for designated humanitarian zones to the south. ILTV's Steve Leibovitz has the latest.
The IDF says it hit more than 50 targets overnight, primarily in Gaza City, with combined air, artillery, and special forces zeroing in on Hamas tunnel networks and command cells. Local authorities claim at least 30 Palestinians killed in recent strikes, including 19 in Gaza City, as airstrikes targeted terror infrastructure. Ground forces continue to slowly expand areas of IDF control of Gaza City.